So I'm Meredith Guthrie from DPIRD, and together with me, I have James Ashley from the Bureau of Meteorology here in Perth. And together we're talking about weather matters, which we were talking about what's happened in the South West Land Division in the last couple of months and what's happening in the future. Over to you, James.
All right, so recently, when we're talking about recent rainfall, this is a map of rainfall from October to April, the last 7 months, really. And you can see incredibly dry conditions have been experienced, record conditions in many places across the southwest corner of the state. So this is the sort of area we'll be focusing on in our outlooks. So on the back of that, really, that 7-month period when apart from some thunderstorm activity during summer, there was a real lack of frontal activity late in spring last year, across summer, which is normally dry, and certainly into autumn, lack of cold frontal activity across that southwest, which is the normal mode of rainfall through that period. So it did change a bit right at the end of April when we saw a really good thunderstorm outbreak, which produced some heavy falls in the southwest. And you can see that in this rainfall map here, some rainfalls well in excess of 50 millimetres around the southwest corner. And that rainfall continued across the weekend in the east, particularly in the east and south of the state. And generally some reasonable falls, 10 to 15 millimetres or more across a large part of the Southwest Land Division. Probably the bits that missed out so far have been the central west and the northeastern parts of the wheat belt.
So why has this been so dry, James?
Well, really over the last probably 6 to 8 weeks, particularly during April, we've had a dominant high pressure system in the Bight. This map we're showing here is the pressure anomaly for April, and you can see really unusually higher than normal pressure across the south of the state and in the Bight. So basically that we've seen a high pressure system sitting in the Bight or south of the state for most of the last couple of months, and that's directed the easterly winds. Any frontal systems that have tried to come up to the southwest corner of the state have really struggled against that high pressure system and weakened out before they have arrived. So pretty much that's the reason why we've been dry over the last few months, and we'll look at how that evolves over the next month or two.
So the Bureau of Meteorology have this Australian water outlook model, which have on their website, and this is showing the recent soil moisture for 6th of May. You can see some parts of the Southwest Land Division have above the normal soil moisture, which is great, but there's some other parts that have below soil moisture for this time of year.
All right, so we've talked a bit about what's happened so far over the last few weeks and months. What's happening in the next week? So what we're showing here are two models, the EC model, which is the European Community model, and the Access, which is Australian weather model. So they're rainfall predictions for the next 7 days. The main rainfall feature that's coming through in that period is a cold front and trough system that's moving across the southwest on Friday and across the weekend. As I mentioned, this high pressure system that's been dominant for so long, it's not going anywhere soon. So this frontal system is actually coming up against that high pressure and struggling to really push across the inland parts of the Southwest Land Division. So we'll see a bit of rain, and it's probably some heavy falls over 20 or 30 millimetres, but really pretty much that heavy stuff will be confined to mainly coastal areas from around Perth around to about Walpole. And looking a bit further forward, so we're out of the what we call a weather model. We're now into a sort of a seasonal model. I just wanted to highlight this is the subsequent fortnight from the 11th of May. The pressure anomaly up in the top left looks very much like the pressure anomaly for April. So we're going to likely to see those dominant high pressure systems during this period, and cold fronts will struggle to impact the southwest of the state during that period. And that's reflected in the rainfall outlook, which looks dry for that fortnight. Conversely, by the time we get to the last 2 weeks in May, you can see the pressure anomaly in the Bight starting to weaken. We're starting to see some lower pressure anomalies pushing into the sort of western parts of the state. So a bit of a transition period the last couple of weeks of May. what you can expect from that is that we'll start to see some frontal systems being able to maintain intensity as they reach the southwest of the state. And that's, again, reflected in a less dry outlook for that fortnight. And then by the time we get to June, we can see that high pressure anomaly over the southwest is now replaced by a lower pressure anomaly. So indicates that the frontal systems are much more likely to impact the west of the state, and a return to the sort of frontal cold front bearing rainfall conditions that we'd normally expect by the time we get to winter. So we expect more widespread rainfall right across the southwest land division for June. And you can see in the rainfall outlook there, a lot of places are the chance of exceeding the median rainfall is above 50%.
And the Bureau have a great little tool that you can actually drill down to locations. So here we have Bridgetown for June, and you can see the access model is actually indicating probably average to wetter for Bridgetown. And over here for Merredin, it's more of a general climatology. So it's actually indicating it's probably more neutral for Merredin. And here the stars are indicating the skill. And so the skill of the access model for Merredin is very good. And here we have the access model again for winter. So June, July, August, and here you can see that the pressure anomaly has weakened. So this high pressure system has moved from the southwest further to the east. And so the outlook for the southwest division is average to above, which is good news. Again, these are the outlooks. Here we have Bridgetown again for winter, and you can see it's actually much wetter than normal climatology. So hopefully that comes to pass, and the skill again is quite good. For Merredin, it's mostly neutral though. And remember, neutral doesn't necessarily mean average. It means be prepared for anything. Okay, James, so what do we have summary today?
All right, we've talked a bit about the dry conditions we've seen over the October to April period, and then late in April and for the first week of May, we've had some really useful rain over a lot of the southwest land division, particularly the southwest corner, and some places have had that autumn break. Looking forward, more rainfall forecast from Friday with a cold front and trough moving through, but certainly the heavier falls will be around the southwest corner of the state. And then looking ahead, it does look like towards the latter part of May, we'll see a breakdown of this really dominant high pressure system in the Bight, allowing cold fronts to bring more rainfall and more widespread rainfall for the southwest land division.
So for further information about how DPIRD can help you, there's the climate situation and outlook QR code there, and also the long range weather and climate pages from the Bureau of Meteorology. We also have an email address where you can post some questions, and James and I hopefully will have that covered in the next Weather Matters video. Thank you for watching.